What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Mike Wong here, and welcome back to the Ignition channel. Today we're going to be working on the WRX again. It's going to be a shorter episode. We're installing the OEM Rain Guards for the Subaru WRX. Alright, so I unboxed the Rain Guards. I ordered these through Rally Sport Direct. I'll leave a link down below. And they've been great with everything that I've ordered from them. Super fast, super quick, and never disappointed with Rally Sport Direct so far. So we've got the driver's side and the passenger side, and they also came with these 6 clips that have to go on the inside of the Rain Guards. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is actually pull down the rubber lining of the actual door frame here. Now, we don't want to pull it all out, like all the way around. We only need this top portion to get the actual Rain Guard in. Alright, so I found the easiest way to do this is just start from the back side closest to the inside of the car and just start wiggling your way forward and pulling down as you move through it. So working our way from the back to the forward and then just pulling our way down. And you can see there, this little lip came down, so I'm actually just going to use my finger and pull it down a little bit more to support it. And you can see right here that the inside rubber lining is actually starting to come off now. So again, we're just going to keep pulling it down. Keep going. Keep going. Right about till here at the inside. We don't want to go all the way through with it, just enough. All right, so now that we have the rubber lining down on the driver's side door, we're actually going to start working with the driver's side rain guard, okay? So the first thing we have to do is we have to put a little clip and a big clip on these 2 parts right here, okay? So in the back part, we're actually going to put the larger clip. And when we push it in, it should actually have a nice click to it, knowing that it's secure. So go ahead, put the clip in, put a little pressure, you can hear it snap. All right, I'm going to repeat the process for the little clip right here. It's going to go in the front. Again, you hear that little snap that goes with it. Something to note, how we're going to get this to stick to the car is this tape, adhesive tape you'll see that's kind of covered up right now. And it's supposed to be covered so that way it lasts, okay? So instead of removing all of the adhesive covering and then just trying to line it up and stick it on there right away, we're just going to remove a little bit of each side first, so that way we can line it up a little bit easier. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to try to peel up the adhesive covering. You see that I started peeling it up just a little bit there, and I'm only going to go, I don't know, probably like that much. I'm going to fold it so that way it creates like a little tab for me right there. So I'm just folding it over, creating a little tab. We're going to use that as like a pull tab later on. Alright, so now that we have the tape set up on all 3 sides, the next part is making sure that these clips, the small one and the big one, actually get attached to the door frame itself. So we got to make sure that's secure first. We also at the same time have to line up this rain guard with the front of the door, the top of the door, and the back of the door itself. So this might take a little bit of practice, alright? So what I'm doing is I'm first lining up the rain guard, this part, the front part, with the front side of the door, or pretty much where the cover is for the rear from here. Alright, just line it up. So it looks like it's a good fit. So now I got to do my best to attach these metal clips to the right spots. And of course this may take some adjustment here and there as well. Alright, so I haven't removed the tape yet. All that's holding up really is the clips that are in the front and back of the rain guard. Okay, we'll remove the tape in a little bit, but the first thing we gotta make sure is that it's lined up pretty nicely. So I used this point right here and made sure it was flush, the rain guard and the actual corner here of the rear view mirror. Okay, if that's flush, that's a good start. The other point you should be looking at is right back here against the back of the door. Is it lined up properly? And yeah, it is lined up properly here. The problem we face is in the center. The center, it's not exactly lined up. So what we're going to do is that as we're applying the tape and removing the cover of the tape, we got to make sure we kind of push up the middle a little bit and then push in so that way it forms nicely to the top of the door itself. Alright, so when we remove the tape, we don't want to remove it all at once on one side. We want to do a little bit each time and then apply pressure. And then once we're done removing the tape, we'll go back over it with a heat gun and then apply a little bit more pressure on it just to make sure that it sticks. So I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to start pulling back the tape a little bit and then applying pressure. Just a little bit of pressure, not too much. We don't want to break the actual rain guard. We're just applying some pressure on it as we move through. So I'm pulling the tape, applying a little bit of pressure. All right, pulling the tape, applying a little pressure. All right, so I'm going to stop there with that side. I'm going to go back to this side now. All right, I'm going to pull up on the very end here, pull up a little bit more, apply some pressure, okay? Remember, this is what's going to really make sure that it stays on the car itself. So pull up, apply a little pressure, all right? Now I'm going to go to the top part right here. I'm going to pull it And as I'm pulling it, I'm applying pressure on it, all right? When we get towards the center here though, you'll see me start to shift up with it a little bit more so that way it covers and has that nice arch there. All right, so pull a little bit more. Oops. Pulling the tape if I can. Twist it. All right, pulling the tape, applying pressure. All right. Going back to the front now, pulling the tape again. Coming off nice and smooth, that's awesome. And I'm applying pressure, all right? Not towards the center just yet, don't have to worry about pushing up at all. Alright, so we got the actual first rain guard in. It's actually pretty easy to do. So before moving on and putting the rubber lining back in itself, I'm going to go over this with a heat gun really quick. The instructions suggest to do it just to make sure that it heats it up, gets sticky, and then we can apply more pressure and make sure it stays on there for good. Alright, so word of warning, this heat gun, going to keep it on a low temperature so that way we don't melt anything. We're not trying to melt the actual rain guard here. Alright, so as you notice, we didn't go too crazy with the heat gun here. We only applied a little bit of heat, pretty much spread throughout the whole thing, and applied more pressure as we're working on it. It's pretty much stuck on there right now. Alright, so we're trying to put the rubber lining back on the inside. And it takes a little bit more work because you definitely want to make sure that it's in there secure so that way it doesn't pop out again on you and it doesn't let anything in when you have the windows down or up. Okay, so when we're pushing it in, make sure you use your thumbs and work it in very nicely and make sure it's securely locked in. You'll feel the rubber lining kind of just sink in, and that's when you know that it's in for good. Alright, so now with the first one installed, we're ready to do the next one right behind it. We've got the part here already. Very similar setup, but this time I already got the clips on here. Instead of one big one, one small one, they're both going to be bigger clips here. We're going to do the same thing where we pull back each side of the tape just a little bit, just so that way we can help line it up. And then we'll make sure that these metal clips attach to the door frame and go from there. Again, don't forget to actually pull down the rubber lining first and be careful while you're doing that. We're not trying to break anything here. Alright, so driver's side completely done. We got the front installed, we got the back installed. And you'll notice that before I put the rubber lining back in, even on the back one, I went over it with the heat gun just to heat it up a little bit more, get a little more sticky, and then apply more pressure. Now, I didn't go too crazy with the heat gun because I wasn't trying to melt anything. And it's also the middle of July in New Jersey, so it's really hot out here. Alright, so hopefully that'll help out a lot. And if you can do this side, then the other side, the passenger side, same exact thing, rinse and repeat. Alright, so we got both sides of the rain guards installed on WRX. Very, very easy install. Here's what it looked like before and after the rain guards. So now you see what the car looks like with and without the rain guards. Again, this was a very, very easy install. I really like the look of it. It's very sleek, and depending on what angle you're looking at the car, you can't even really see the rain guards, which is pretty cool. Alright, and that's going to be a wrap for today's video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content and stay up to date with what we're doing with our vehicles. We've got a lot planned, and we're super excited for what's to come. Remember, if you got a dream or a passion you've been waiting to get started, don't hesitate to turn that key and get it started. We'll see you next time in the Ignition Channel.